Good evening, good evening, good evening. I am Dr. T, Dr. Tracy Knighton. I'm a licensed professional counselor, and tonight is Tea Talk. Sis, are you ready to talk about why you're functioning and still not feeling fulfilled? Come on in. Make sure you share this as we get started tonight because tonight's conversation is all about how we continue to function but still not feel fulfilled in our own lives. So, welcome again to another episode of Tea Talk on this Sunday night at 7 o'clock. You got your tea, sis? One of my favorite coffee mugs from my mom. Can I tell y'all what my tea tag says tonight? This is amazing. It says, never regret your mistakes. Come on, sis. Don't regret your mistakes. It says, admire the courage it took to attempt the unknown. See, in midlife, you're attempting to do something you've never done before. You've never been this age before in your life. And in midlife, it's all about you doing things for you. So tonight's topic, functioning and still not feeling fulfilled, this is all about you learning how to stop doing for other people and to start living the life that's yours. That's right, sis. It's yours. Type it in the chat. I'm ready to live. Can I see that tonight? Let me see that you're here with me tonight. I'm ready to live. So if you're like me, you are midlife. Your mama's midlife is different from yours. Your grandma's midlife is different from yours. And here you are at this stage in your life trying to figure out, what am I doing with this thing called life? How am I showing up in this thing called life? Thank you, Latressa Watley. Latressa Watley says, I'm ready to live. That's right, Brenda Johnson. Brenda Johnson says, I'm ready to live. Y'all, thank you for being on YouTube, coming on and hanging out with me. Listen, this is the only life we get. We don't get a do-over. We don't get another chance to be able to say, you know what? Let me go back and do some things differently. I told you, my tag said, listen, there are no regrets in life. You just learn from them and you take the courage that you have to move you forward. So in this stage of our lives, it's all about us moving forward in the direction we want to go for ourselves. So let's get started tonight. Here's what I want to tell you. When I spent the first years of my 30s, I don't know about y'all, I'm just speaking for me. I'm speaking from experience here. My 30s were all about grinding and hustling. Oh, educator, oh, running a business, being a wife. I was trying to do it all. The best big sister. I was traveling. We had started traveling. I was like getting it on 6 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep. And then my 40s hit. I don't know about y'all, but them 40s smacked me upside the head when it came to about 46, 47. And that's when my body decided, listen, what we're feeling in our body is not what's matching in our head and our heart. Am I the only one? There were some things that were going on with me physically that I could not explain with my head and my heart. And so it felt like I was three different people. Y'all, I felt like I was three different people. My mind wanted one thing, my emotions wanted something else, but my body was like, girl, what you trying to do? Right? And so that's how my 40s felt. And then when I hit my 50s, I had a revelation. Y'all. I was a professional woman, check. I was a successful woman, check. I was a strong woman. Don't even get me started on being a strong Black woman. That's a whole nother episode, sis. I was a strong woman, check. I was a woman who would help other people build careers because I was now coaching, check. I helped to raise families. I was a world's greatest auntie, check. Okay, I supported our church. I was a pastor's wife, still am a pastor's wife, supporting the church, check. Yep, I help other folks build businesses. Other therapists were coming to me like, how did you do this? And of course, I'm helping them start their practices, check. Wait a minute, I'm also serving in the community, check. All of the boxes were checked. I was doing all of the things, but here's what I noticed. Y'all, secretly, silently, in my own heart, mind, and spirit, listen, I was suffering. I was falling apart. Listen, my husband was sleeping with me every night. He had no clue what was going on inside of me. Y'all, I'm just trying to be honest. I'm trying to help you understand that what you're going through, you're not going through it by yourself. Others of us have felt it, are feeling it, will feel it. This is not something that's a total isolation. See, some of y'all are thinking what I'm experiencing, can't nobody else understand this. Yes. And here's the thing, I checked all the boxes, but still wanted to wrap my car around a tree so I could get at least 8 hours of sleep, because I felt like if I wrapped my car around a tree, maybe I could get the good drugs in the hospital to be able to go to sleep. I'm going to take a sip off of that. It wasn't that I wanted to commit suicide, y'all, but I just could not find the rest in my spirit that I needed. Am I by myself? Type in the chat, I feel you, Doc, if you are following me so far. Type it in the chat, I feel you, Doc, if you are following me so far. And so here I am. I'm checking all the boxes. Everything is showing up. Everything looks great on the outside, but I'm struggling, y'all. I'm struggling. I'm falling apart. Women are so good at functioning, but here's the thing, you're good at faking it too. Just take a sip with me if you are following me. You're good at functioning, but you're good at faking it too. Thank you, Doc. Thank you. Thank you, Coach. Reminding me I am not by myself. You're good at functioning, but faking is how you do it. You're showing up, you're handling the business, and here's the problem. You're surviving and not thriving. Let's just be honest. Thank you, Miss Lady 1998. She says, yes, I'm following you. Thank you so much. Y'all ain't leaving me out here by myself. Yeah, here's the thing. We've got to learn that what got us through, and I'm saying it like that, what got us through our 30s, what maintained us in our 40s can be the very thing that turns around and takes you out in your 50s. Ooh, ooh, ooh. The very thing that helps you in your 30s and 40s could be the very thing that takes you out in your 50s. Why? Because you've trained your nervous system. You've trained your nervous system to feel a certain type of way in order to function. See, I wasn't on last week because we were traveling back from Punta Cana. So the week before that, episode 7, go back and watch that episode. Listen, I talk about how we have trained our nervous system to feel a certain type of way. So when we try to rest, when we try to do those things to calm our nervous system, we end up shocking our nervous system because it doesn't understand when you're calm. It doesn't understand when you're trying to be peaceful. It doesn't understand when you're saying the word no to other people and there's a calmness that comes over your body. And so now what we have to learn how to do is stop functioning even though we're not fulfilled. You've got to stop that. So here we go. Here's what I want you to think about tonight. We don't lose ourselves overnight. Let me say that again. We don't lose ourselves overnight. You don't lose yourself overnight, Miss Lady 1998. You don't lose yourself overnight, Miss Brenda Johnson. There are little pieces of you that you lose every single time you say yes to somebody when you really want to say no. There are little pieces of you that you lose every single time when you use the word one day, someday. There's a little piece of you that you lose every single time you sacrifice your peace for somebody else. There's a little piece of you that you lose every single time when you take on somebody's responsibility that's not yours. That piece of you is gone every single time you do that. So you don't actually lose yourself overnight. It's a process that you're going through. It's a highway that you're going through. And every single time you say one day, maybe next year, maybe the next time, maybe when I get some more money in my account because I'm giving my money away to my kids all the time, maybe when I do this, maybe when I do that, every single time you do that, you're chipping away at the woman that you really want to be. See, there's a future version of you that's waiting on you to make some decisions now that will take you to her. But see, you'll never meet her because you're not making the decisions you need to make now to get you there. Some of the decisions you need to make, and I told you a decision means that you're cutting off other options. See, choices and decisions are different. I've told you this before. Choices mean that I can either choose A, B, C, D, or whatever, right? A decision means I'm cutting off other options because there is no other option for me, right? So when you make a decision to be the woman that you dream to be, there are some things that you're going to end up cutting off. Type in the chat, cut off. That's right. There are some things that you're going to have to cut off. But see, when you decide that I'm no longer going to sacrifice who I want to be for your good, now we're starting to function in our future. Yeah, you're starting to function in the future that you're looking for. So, can I give you 5 signs that you're disappearing in your own life? Can I do that? Can I give you 5 signs? Because I want to leave you with something tonight to where you can go look in the mirror because you know you got a journaling homework. Y'all know how I do. I like to give you some journaling homework that you got to work on. Mhm. So I want to give you 5 signs that you are disappearing in your own life. See, our lives are just that. They're our lives. So now here you are in your 40s, and now things are starting to settle in and you're understanding yourself. You're getting a better idea of who you are, right? Good. Now we can start functioning with our future in mind in your 40s. So now that you're in your 40s, now that you're in your 50s, you're going to be intentional about the choices and the decisions that you make because we're no longer functioning and not being fulfilled. We're going to function and be fulfilled because we're going to live life to the fullest intentionally now. So if you're with me, type the word intentional in the chat. So take out your journal after you type the word intentional in the chat because I want to know that you're with me. Now take out your journal because I want you to write down these 5 signs you may be disappearing from your own life because you're going to evaluate yourself this week, sis. This is your homework. I want you to sit with these 5 signs and I want you to meditate on how you're showing up in your own life right now in your 40s and 50s, right now in your midlife, because you're going to create some midlife magic of your own. See, I was able to create some of my own midlife magic, and I want to show you how to do that as well. But the first thing we've got to do is take an evaluation of ourselves. And here are 5 signs that you may be disappearing from your own life. Sign number 1, you're functioning, but you're not fulfilled. So what do I really mean by that? You're getting everything done. Listen, you holding on to everything, girl. You look amazing doing it. Yes, girl, you showing up at work. Your kids are getting what they need. Your spouse is getting what you need. Everybody's complimenting you on how you do things so well. Everybody's complimenting you on how well you make doing good and looking good doing it. Everybody's complimenting you on that. But here's the problem. You're functioning, but you're not being fulfilled. See, joy is something on the inside. My t-shirt says high on happiness. That's right. You're building your own happiness. But here's the problem. Some of y'all don't have joy inside of you. Some of y'all are serving out of bitterness. Some of y'all are not even happy with the life that you have. You just keep showing up in it every single day. Some of y'all know that there's more to you, but you can't bring it out because you're so busy trying to give everything to everybody else. And so you go to sleep at night frustrated, sad, drinking your own tears because you know there's more to you than just doing for everybody else. So here's the thing I want you to think about when we talk about you're functioning, but you're not being fulfilled. Okay? What if your productivity had a purpose? Not a purpose for everybody else, but a purpose for you, sis. See, some of y'all have 501c3s in your heart. And yes, your 501c3 would serve other people, but you feel like it's a purpose for you to be able to give more, do more. And even out of that purpose, it's your heart's desire. But you keep talking yourself out of it. See, some of y'all got a book that you need to read, right? But your productivity is elsewhere instead of your productivity being in the book that you want to write. See, some of y'all got businesses inside of you, but your productivity is for everybody else instead of your productivity going to the business that you want to start. See, what if you made a decision to be productive for your purpose? What if you made that decision? So that's the first sign that you're disappearing in your own life, is that you're functioning, but you're not being fulfilled. How can I be fulfilled? I'm going to take a look at my productivity and see if my productivity lines up with the purpose that's in my heart. That's number 1. Excuse me, my goodness. Here's the second one. Here's the second sign. You're present for everyone else, but you're absent. Excuse me. But you're absent for yourself. Mm-mm-mm. You're present for everyone else, but you're absent for yourself. Think about that for a second. When you show up for everybody else, how does it make you feel? Is it fulfilling to you, or do you feel disconnected from yourself? And I'm going to take a sip of that. Are you disconnected from yourself when you are present for everybody else, but you're absent for yourself? I told you one of the questions that I asked, ooh, that coffee made me tear up there. One of the first questions that I usually ask my clients when they come to counseling is, what do you want? That's what I ask them. But here's the other question. What do you need? Do you know what you want? Do you know what you need? But when I ask you, what do your children want? What do your children need? What do your grandbabies want? What do your grandbabies need? What do your coworkers want? What do your coworkers need? Sis, you can rattle it off just like that. But you can't tell me what you want. You can't tell me what you need. That means that you're present for everybody else, but you're absent from yourself. You're disconnected from yourself. And if I were to ask you, do you want more peace? You looking at me like, wait a minute, is peace even possible? Yes, it is. But you got to know what peace looks like for you. Purpose is possible, but you've got to know what purpose is for you. And so number 2 is you're present for everybody else, but you're absent for yourself. You've got to ask the question, what do I want? You've got to ask the question, what do I need? But more importantly, you got to answer those questions. That's number 2. You've got to answer those questions. What do I want? What do I need? Here's the third sign that you may be disappearing from your own life. Ooh, I told y'all it was going to be good tonight. We were going to have some good conversation tonight, because I want you to evaluate yourself this week. I want you to take a step back, and I want you to look down at your life as if you were looking at it through a glass. And I want you to take a panoramic view of your life. And I want you to go, how am I disappearing in my life? How am I showing up in my life? And these questions are going to help you to say, yep, I see where I'm not productive on the purpose that's in my heart. Yep, I see that I don't know what I want. I don't know what I need. Here's the third question I want you to take a look at. The third sign that you might be disappearing from your life. You're always giving, but you're not receiving. You're always giving, but you're not receiving. Sis, you can't even take a compliment. Woo! I felt that one, because here's why I felt it. I was just like that. Y'all, come a little closer. Don't tell nobody I'm telling you this secret. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? I'm learning right now to just take compliments. When they come, don't try to give the person that's giving you the compliment a compliment. Don't try to negate what they're saying. Girl, I love your hair. Oh, girl, yeah, I need a haircut right now. No. Take the compliment. Oh, girl, I love the lipstick color you got on. Oh, no, this is, oh, no. Take the compliment. I am learning to take a breath every time I get a compliment and just say thank you. I'm learning how to receive instead of give. Type that in the chat. I'm receiving. I'm receiving. Type that in the chat. And the reason I'm having you to type so much in the chat is because I've got to help you deprogram your nervous system to be able to receive the things that we're chatting about. You've got to learn how to receive, because you're great at giving. You're amazing at giving. Listen, you have mastered giving, but you've got to learn how to receive. Learning to receive opens you up. It opens you up not only for the gifts of life, but it teaches you how to open up so that more can come to you. And in this season of midlife, you need more. Y'all got it? So here's the question I want you to ask yourself for number 3. Am I comfortable receiving? That's the question you got to ask yourself for the third sign. Am I comfortable in receiving? Am I comfortable in receiving compliments? Am I comfortable in receiving hugs? Am I comfortable in receiving gifts? When somebody gives me a gift, am I trying to give another gift? No, am I just comfortable in doing that? Y'all, yesterday, my husband and I were at a church in Atlanta, and we were doing a patch event. It was a wellness event, and we were patching people. And y'all see my patch. I'm gonna tell you about these patches in a minute. I was patching people. And as I was patching people, they were complimenting me. They were complimenting me on how smooth my skin is. They were complimenting me on how peaceful I was. They were complimenting me and Lawrence on our relationship, that they can see the joy in us. They can see the peace in our relationship. They were complimenting us on our business and just being able to present the patches in such a way that they could take the patches. And I was explaining to people how I use the patches in my private practice and my coaching and everything. And I was receiving all of these compliments, y'all. And not one time yesterday from 10 in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon did I try to negate a compliment. Why? Because I'm being intentional about receiving. I would say to myself when I received the compliments, girl, your hair is so cute. Thank you so much. And in my mind to myself, I would say I receive it, because I'm learning to open myself up to receive more. So here's the first sign that you may be disappearing from your own life. I hope y'all are putting this in your journal. Here's the first sign: you're functioning, but you're not being fulfilled. And the question that you're going to ask yourself: what if productivity isn't the same thing as purpose? Am I being productive in my purpose? That's the sign. That's the first sign. Here's the second one: you're present for everyone else, but you're absent from yourself. You're present for everyone else, but you're absent from yourself. What do I want? What do I need? Those are the questions you're going to ask yourself for the second sign. Here's the third sign: you're always giving, but not receiving. Here's the question I want you to ask yourself: am I receiving? How am I receiving? Am I comfortable receiving? That's the third one. Here's the fourth one: you're surviving beautifully, sis. Yes, you are. You're amazing at surviving, but you're starving yourself emotionally. That's the fourth sign. The fourth sign that you are disappearing from your own life is that you're surviving beautifully. Everybody can see it on the outside, but you're starving emotionally. Can we talk about that? The therapist really wants to come out right here. So this one really hit me because as women, we are taught not to share our emotions. We think it's men that are taught not to share their emotions. But the truth of the matter is, women learn how to not share their emotions in their 20s. Why? Because we are so busy trying to get. We're so busy trying to hustle. We're so busy trying to show who we are, particularly as Black women, because we want to be professional. We want to get our positions. We want to get our success. And in order to do that, we learned, especially if you're over the age of 50, you learned that your emotions had no place in the workplace. If I'm right about it, put "you right" in the chat. You learned that your emotions have no place in the workplace. And because you learned that your emotions have no place in the workplace, you stop allowing them to show. Let me back that up even more. If you are a 1970s baby like I am, here's the other thing that you learned early on too, that either coming home by yourself because you were a latchkey kid, or if you were part of a sibling group and had to take care of part of the sibling group, you learned that you didn't have time to allow your emotions to show. I'm the oldest of 3 girls. And so I didn't have time to allow my emotions to get in the way of me taking care of my 2 sisters. And then when my parents divorced, I really didn't have time because by that time I was in college. And so now I'm learning that I've got to survive college and get through this. Girl, don't even get me started on how I got kicked out of college because I was partying too hard and having way too much fun. That's a whole nother story. But we were able to do that. And in that time, in the 1980s and 90s, now you're trying to be a professional. Oh, no, 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 sis. You can't show no emotions in the workplace. So now you become a zombie to your own emotions. And so that's why number 4 hit me in that you're surviving beautifully, but you're starving yourself emotionally. And I learned that the more emotional I was, the more I got side-eyed. Then you get in relationships. That's right. You start getting into some serious relationships. And now you're so busy trying to make the relationship work that you don't allow your emotions to come out because you want the relationship. So now you're putting yourself on the back burner when it comes to your family. You're putting yourself on the back burner when it comes to your job. Now you're putting yourself on the back burner when it comes to your relationships. And your emotions don't have a chance to grow and mature. And so you end up feeling comfortable. That's right. You feel comfortable not allowing those emotions to show up. But the very thing that kept you moving and productive in your 20s and 30s and 40s now is the very thing that's coming back to get you in your 50s. Because here's the thing, hiding those emotions are not productive. Hiding those emotions keep you disconnected from yourself. And so here you are in your 50s trying to feel yourself and go, wait a minute, why am I feeling so emotional? Sis, those emotions have been with you all along. You were just pressing them down and hiding them so you could survive. Yeah, I hope y'all got that. So now sign number 4, that you are disappearing inside your own life, is that you're surviving beautifully, but starving your emotions. So here's what I want you to ask yourself this week. How am I hiding my emotions? Can I identify my emotions when they show up? Ask yourself that, sis. Can I truly identify my emotions when they show up? That's one of the first things I have to do with my women when we're in counseling and coaching is number 1, give them permission to experience their emotions. That's the first thing. Then the second thing I do is teach them what they are. They're not going away. They're going to be there. And believe it or not, in order to create some midlife magic, you're going to want your emotions. They're going to actually end up helping you quite a bit. All right, y'all, my time is just about up. Here's sign number 5 that you're disappearing inside your own life. Y'all ready for this? I hope y'all are writing this down in your journal. Make sure you share this episode with a sister because I'm hoping to create more conversations with our sisters so that we can begin to, create some midlife magic together. Midlife is a beautiful thing. It's our time to do this for ourselves, right? Not for the kids, not for the spouse, not for the job, but for ourselves. So I hope that you are sharing these videos. And if you're not a subscriber on YouTube, I hope that you're going to subscribe because I really want you to be here with us as we create more midlife magic. All right, here's sign number 5 that you're disappearing in your own life. Number 5, you stop imagining what's even possible for yourself. You've stopped imagining what's even possible for yourself. Some of y'all have stopped dreaming about your futures. Some of y'all have stopped imagining about the places you want to go, the things that you want to do, the businesses you want to create, the books you want to write, the recipes that you want to create. Some of y'all have stopped dreaming about all of those things. And that's sign number 5. Sign number 5 is you stop imagining the life that you really want. You stopped imagining going and visiting Puerto Rico or Panama. You stopped imagining going and visiting Greece. You stopped imagining driving to Canada. You stopped imagining opening your own business. You stopped imagining creating that recipe book from your grandma. You've stopped imagining. But here's the thing. You've got to waken those dreams back up in you. And so here's the question that I want you to ask yourself this week. As you evaluate yourself this week, if I, meaning you, had a magic wand, what would I do? What would you create? Go back, for those of you on Facebook, and look at the post that I posted this week about the message in a bottle. Yeah, go back and read that. because that's what I'm asking you to do in sign number 5. I want you to reimagine. Reimagine who you could be. Reimagine the dreams that you had. Some of those dreams are just sitting and waiting on you to open the door again. Who would imagine at 55 that you would become an avid traveler? Who would imagine at 55 you would start making cakes in your home and selling them? Who would imagine at 55 you would learn how to crochet or quilt? Who would imagine at 55, listen, I don't know if I shared this with y'all. My mom moved to Germany in 2016 in her late 50s, early 60s. Let me see. My mom is 74 now. So my mom, no, so that was in her 60s. My mom packed up her goodie bag, y'all. We were sitting. My mom was in Warner Robins, working, living. Listen, I'm sitting at my grandmother's house at a table. My mom says, I have something to tell you. And I thought she was getting ready to tell me she was, moving to another state or something. My mom said, I'm moving to Germany. Y'all, it took all I had not to bust out crying. Why? Because my mom was moving across the world in her 60s, a dream she had had since high school. It had now come to fruition. And if y'all don't know my mom is not a very outgoing person. But for her to make a decision, not a choice, a decision to pack up her bag, leave her 3 daughters, leave her 3 grandkids, leave her mother, her and her siblings to say, I'm moving across the world to a country that I only know one person in, to a country that has a language I can't even speak. But I'm going to do this because it was a dream inside of me since I was a teenager. Y'all, all I could say was, go ma, we got our passports. We are coming to visit you. Y'all, that was the happiest I'd ever seen my mother. That's right. My mom learned how to drive on the Autobahn. Come on now. My mom learned how to understand some German. My mom traveled to some places I'll never visit, right? Because my mom had a dream and she reimagined herself in her 60s to say, you know what? I have the ability to make this happen and I'm going to do it. She made a decision for herself, not her kids, not her grandkids, not her husband at the time, not her mama, but my mom made a decision for herself that I'm going to live the life that I imagine. In her 60s, y'all, how many of you need to reimagine your life? How many of you are functioning in your life, but you're not fulfilled? How many of you are disappearing in your own life? See, y'all gonna make me start preaching tonight. How many of you have given up on the dreams that you had for yourself because you were so busy doing for other people? How many of you are going to promise yourself tonight, I'm going to reimagine what's mine? Yeah, it's yours. I'm going to reimagine the life that I once wanted. I'm going to reimagine the business that I want to open. I'm going to reimagine the book that I want to write. I'm going to reimagine the car that I want to drive. I'm going to reimagine the city that I want to live in. I'm going to reimagine the house that I want to live in. I'm going to reimagine the marriage that I want, the relationship that I want. I'm going to reimagine all of those things. Why? Because it's midlife magic, sis. You can make it happen. But here's the thing you got to do first. You got to stop functioning in your own life and you got to start living your life. Y'all, that's all I got time for. It's 35 minutes. I am over my time. Listen, here's what I want you to do. This week, you've got your homework assignment. I've given you the 5 signs you're disappearing in your own life. I want you to take a look at the questions that I've asked you in those 5 signs. And I want you to take an honest look at your life and I want you to evaluate your life. Because in order to move forward and to thrive in your life instead of surviving like you're doing right now, you got to take inventory. You got to look in the mirror and be honest because we can't move forward without knowing where we start from. Y'all got that? That's it for me tonight. Listen, I love y'all so much. I'm so glad that you're joining me on these tea talks. I'm so glad that you're investing in yourself with a cup of hot tea and a journal and saying, I'm committing to myself this week. Here's one more thing I want you to commit to. I want you to commit to sharing this video with a sister. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I want you to commit to doing that too. Here's the third thing that I want you to do this week. I want you to put you at the top of your list this week. That's what I want you to do for you. That's your commitment to you. All right. Until next week, sis, 7 o'clock Tea Talk next Sunday. Y'all have an amazing week.